What would you do if the person you had been texting for months finally agreed to meet you, but when you arrived, every camera in the building showed you walking in alone? Before we begin, subscribe now, because these dark horror stories only get worse the longer you listen. And tonight's final story might genuinely make you uncomfortable being home alone. Tonight, we have 4 dark, scary, true horror stories that begin quietly, then spiral completely out of control. The first story starts with a dating app match, a beautiful girl, a weekend invitation, and a house where the dead still answer messages. Story 1. The girl from the dating app. Daniel had been talking to her for almost 3 months. Her name was Mara. At least that was the name on her dating profile. She had soft eyes, black hair, and the kind of smile that stayed in your mind too long after you closed the app. They didn't meet immediately. Mara always had an excuse. Work, family, bad timing. But every night at exactly 11:17 p.m., she messaged him. Not 11:16, not 11:18. Always 11:17. One Friday night, she finally sent him an address. Come spend the weekend with me. The house sat far outside town, old, silent, isolated. Still, Daniel went, because loneliness can make warnings sound inviting. When he arrived, the house looked older than the photos. The porch light flickered weakly. Mara opened the door before he knocked. She looked exactly like her pictures, same hair, same smile, but the air around her felt cold. Daniel, she said softly. Inside, the house smelled like dust and old perfume. No family pictures, no decorations, nothing personal, just dim lights and silence. You must be tired, Mara said. Long drive, Daniel replied. She smiled. I know. That answer bothered him. He had never told her how far away he lived. That night, they sat together in the living room. Mara barely blinked. Whenever Daniel looked away, he still felt her staring at him. At exactly 11:17 p.m., his phone buzzed. A message from Mara. I'm so happy you came. Daniel froze. Mara was sitting directly across from him, no phone in her hands. He looked up slowly. She smiled. What's wrong? Daniel forced a laugh and walked to the bathroom. The mirror above the sink was cracked down the middle. Then his phone buzzed again. Don't go upstairs. Daniel stared at the message. From the hallway, Mara called softly, Daniel? When he opened the bathroom door, she was standing at the end of the hallway, still smiling. Behind her, at the top of the stairs, he saw something move. A pale face. Then it vanished. Daniel barely slept that night. At 3:03 a.m., whispering woke him up. Mara stood beside the couch in darkness, her face inches from his. You said you wouldn't leave, she whispered. Daniel sat up quickly. I never said that. Her smile faded. You all say that. The next morning, Mara acted completely normal. She made breakfast. She laughed, like nothing had happened. Daniel decided to leave after lunch, but outside, his tires were flat, his car keys were missing, and written across the dusty windshield were the words, Stay the weekend. Daniel slowly turned back toward the house. Mara stood silently in the doorway. Behind her, upstairs, 3 pale faces stared down at him from the window. All men. All motionless. Daniel ran, down the dirt road, past dead trees twisting in the wind, past empty houses with dark windows. He didn't stop until he reached a gas station nearly 2 miles away. The cashier looked up nervously. You okay, son? Before Daniel could answer, his phone buzzed. 11:17 p.m., unknown number. A photo message. It showed Daniel standing inside Mara's living room earlier that night, taken from upstairs. Below the image were the words, You left too early. Daniel slowly looked back toward the road. Far beyond the trees,
they're still there.
He could still see the house,
watching me,
and figures standing on the second-floor porch, watching him. The cashier's expression changed immediately. You came from the Ellison place? Daniel stared at him. That house should have burned down years ago, the old man whispered. Mara Ellison died there. Daniel felt sick. The cashier leaned closer. They say she hated being alone. Daniel drove home, shaking.
Subscribe if you're still watching, because the next story is even darker. And comment below. Would you have stayed in that house?